Alright guys, I want to come up with this video really quickly. It's more of a quoted type of video rather than a sermon. It's not a sermon. It has nothing to do with scripture or anything like that. This is coming from me and coming from my ideas. You know, whether anything be inspired by God himself, I'll let you know that in the midst of me speaking. But this is specifically for relationships, not just for male and female, but also for mother and son, father and daughter, father and son, mother, daughter, cousin to cousin, nephew to uncle, uncle to nephew, auntie to niece, niece to nephew. I just want to talk to you guys because I see this pattern. And this pattern has been going on for years, actually, to be honest with you. Don't get too used to each other. Couples, don't get too used to each other because that's a big mistake. Now, that might sound crazy to you that don't get used to people or don't get too used to people, but I think this is a very important topic because what happens when you first get to know somebody, you're all in love. You're crazy about your new friend. And it's as if the more the time goes, the more value is lost. And that becomes a problem. My value, your value, shouldn't be based on how important I think you are, but you should automatically be a priority because I love you. And because I say I love you, you're a priority, which means you're always important to me, even when you're getting on my nerves. Why do you think marriage says for better or for worse? Why you think God want people to love each other through the storm? It's the test and the trials and the tribulations that you have with the person that exposes your love for them. It really exposes how much you really love somebody. But like I said, I've noticed this pattern of getting too used to each other. When you first meet somebody, you rubbing their feet every night. You'll wait on them hand and foot. I love to cook for you. I love to clean for you. I love to do this. I love to do that. 2-3 years go by, it dims down. The excitement dims down. But suddenly, as soon as we lose somebody to death or we lose somebody to some sort of tragedy or catastrophe or sickness, now all of a sudden we want to reminisce. Now all of a sudden we want to cry and we want to, we want to cry and we want to reminisce on the times that you should have did this and the times that we should have did that. Life is so short. And I would go further into debt, but I really don't have the time to go further into debt. But I'll say as much as I possibly can in this video. Value each other. Love each other. Sons, daughters, mothers, sons, aunties, uncles, cousins. Y'all better love each other. Life is short. People are here today and they're gone tomorrow. I don't think people get that. They're here today and they're gone tomorrow. I left my house this morning. There's no telling. I may not make it home tonight. You know, we just automatically just wake up in the morning. We don't say good morning to each other. You know, nobody says hi. You know, we walk around with our heads down, thinking and assuming I'll see you again next week. Assuming that we'll talk again. Assuming that I'll be alive to give you a phone call. It's not promised. I want to spend time with you every moment I can like it's my last because it can be my last. And I don't think people grasp that. They wait until somebody dies or they wait until they lose somebody to see how important somebody is to you. Don't get too used to each other, man. Keep the relationship sparked. Ask God to be the spark in your relationships. Even when it comes to a romance, man, don't get with somebody, take them out to eat, go to the movies and all that stuff and do all these different things for them, buy them gifts. Don't do all these things in the beginning and then as soon as you get used to them, it stops. I get it. We have to work. I get it. Money is scarce. But there's always something that you can do. The fall is approaching. Take your lover. Go on a picnic. You know, have some rose petals laid out. Fathers, why don't you take your sons out to breakfast? Sons, take your father out to breakfast. Mothers, go out with your daughter sometime. Grandparents, reach out to your grandkids sometimes. Sometimes they need to hear from you too. It's not always about them chasing you around so he can stroke your ego of importance. You need to reach out to other people too sometimes. They may need your counsel. They may need your help. And it's as if we always got to reach out to y'all first. Y'all can reach out too. The Bible doesn't say just because you're older that you don't have to reach out to nobody. Just because you're older, you can just walk over people. It doesn't say that. It says, love ye one another as I have loved you. And he didn't put an age limit on it. Love thy neighbor as thyself. That's what it says. But again, when your sons and daughters are kids, of course we get you can't treat them exactly like they were when they were a kid. But when your sons and your daughters, when they were children, you always hugged them. You always said good morning. You always showed your love for them and showed how important they were to you. I hope you did. But you did that when they were a kid. So what changes when they get older? When they get older, they're not worthy of a good morning anymore? When they get older, they're not worthy of saying I love you anymore? This is a major problem. It's a major problem. Don't get too used to me. People join the church. The pastor's all excited. The person is all excited that just joined. And as time go on, it dims down. I've seen it happen multiple times. That's not the case right now for my church currently, but this has happened in the past. You know, a new family comes, it's all about them. What happens? It dwindles away. We get too used to things. And when we get too used to things, it loses its value. You get a new car, okay, nobody eat in the car. Vacuuming that car every week. But as soon as you get used to the car, you eating in the car. You got trash laying all over the place. And then it opens up a door for the spirit of ungratefulness. And then we become ungrateful for each other. Nothing is promised. Nobody owes us nothing. And I mean absolutely nothing. Nothing is promised at all. So we need to honor one another because their life is not promised to you. Their presence is not promised to you. And it seems like the only time we want to realize this is when it's time to look at them in the casket and say goodbye when they can't even hear you. You know, I don't feel like talking to her today. I don't feel like talking to him today. And then the time that you feel like it, now they're gone. So now you can't even hit them up anymore. You can't talk to them anymore. You'll never hear their voice again. I'm thankful that before my grandfather died, rest his soul, over 10 years ago, I spent the night with him one last time as a child at his house so we can watch wrestling together. That was something that we did. We watched a lot of wrestling together. We watched cartoons together. And so, even as a child, I just knew that it was so important to spend the night one more time. And he just got out of the hospital, so nobody was expecting him to go back into the hospital and die. But I'm glad that I spent that last moment with him. I'm glad I had the chance to show my love and affection toward him that one last time. I'm glad that I had a chance to laugh with him one last time while watching wrestling, to eat with him, and to spend our birthdays together one last time. It was a blessing. He's gone on. I'll see him again. But of course, I miss him dearly. I'm glad that I got the chance to experience the love of my uncle before he passed away. Even as a child, I had a sense enough to know life isn't promised, because it's not. Treat your brothers and sisters like trash. I see it all the time. You get too used to them. Get too comfortable. Don't ever get too comfortable with anybody that you're with. Ever. I love you like today is the last day. And we need to start loving each other like every day is the last day. God compares your life to a vapor. 1 minute it's there, 1 minute it's passed away. And that little dash that's in between the time that you're born And the time that you die, that's how short your life is. That little dash between whatever time you were born and whatever time you're going to die. Do you realize you've lived your death date this long? I realized that for 28 years this year, for 28 years, I've lived my death date and don't even know it. That's how scary this thing is. And this video is not to scare you. This video is hopefully to wake somebody up, to understand the importance of each other, and to spend as much time with each other as you could possibly spend with each other, to appreciate each other. Some of it go in one ear and right out the other. Some of it will go right here and then here and then here. And you'll think about it. Peace, love, shalom. I'm out.